Okay, we got a Toro LX427. It's got the dreaded Kohler Courage. Looks dry as a bone though, guys. Usually those are cracked and leaking oil. Alright, I just put a battery in this thing and let me show you what it's doing. Ready? Click, click. A lot of people throw away their machines when they get that click. It's kind of frustrating. So, probably a bad solenoid. And the solenoid is located, that's the top, that's the bottom of it right there. So it's located there. So I think first thing to do is take that out, try a new one. I checked the fuses already. The fuses are good, so I think it probably is that solenoid. You would have never seen me working on that anyway, so tight in there, but I got a replacement solenoid in there. Try it now. Oh, I smell fuel. All right, well, she cranks. That's great. In the summer, I mainly use this to kill wasps, but you know, it works to start engines too. And I can hear this solenoid clicking, so I know things are working at least that much. All right, let's crank this again. There we go. Well, we got spark and compression and the engine spins. Just got to see if we can get it to keep fuel going. Alright, there's our carb. Let's try to get it cleaned. Doesn't look too bad in there. No mouse nests, that's good. Lots of stuff in there. Really dirty. Yeah, it might take an ultrasonic cleaning, but let's see if we can do this by hand. Okay, got the carb all cleaned. Let's try this again. It's got good oil in it, by the way. Well, here's the mowing deck to that Toro. It's really beat up, and it wasn't even on the machine. It was kind of like hanging on by, I think, just the deck engagement cable. The previous owner and the guy who sold it to me never worked on it. He got it from somebody and just didn't ever work on it, but he couldn't figure out how to get the deck off. And I got it off in 2 seconds, but this thing doesn't look like it's in great shape, and I think I have one that's restored already with like new bearings and a new belt sitting in my storage shed. So let's go check out if this thing is similar. So here's my storage shed by the creek. Down here. Got some quads in here, some lawnmowers, three-wheeler. Here's what I call my quad. Alright, here's the deck. Oh, I'm kind of hung up on the three-wheeler. It's tight in here. I think it's the same. We have the two pulleys for the blades, and then you have these guides, and yeah, there's the new belt sitting there. And this thing, it's real dusty, but I painted this, and I believe I put in new bearings. Maybe, I don't know, maybe it wasn't this deck, I can't remember now. I'll have to go back and look at the videos, but I think this thing was red at one point and I painted it all black, but I think we'll go with this. I bet it has new blades on it too. We'll take a look. Alright, don't you love it when you do things ahead of time and it pays off? Completely restored deck, new belt. Check this out. New blades. Yeah, you could definitely tell this was red at some point. I basically did the same thing. I just, you know, hard to match that red sometimes. Just make the deck black. Looks just as good. That thing will clean up nice. I think that will be our deck for this Toro. Alright, let's get a little help from this cart. Pull this out of the woods here. This will take a second and look at this cart. Hold on. Okay. There we go. This was a Gravely cart. I restored it last year. Didn't keep any of the markings of Gravely on it, but yeah, it's been a nice little dump cart for me. It's filled with dirt at the moment. But we'll put the deck in that. We'll get my quad and haul this mowing deck up to the shed. We're in the dark here, but we're on the quad. This is the key switch I did the other day. And what I didn't show you in that video is that this really isn't the right key switch, because it doesn't give you the second click for lights. So, you know, look good on camera, but isn't working great. Yeah. Always gets a little angry on startup. You gotta find choke just right. See, it likes to stall. And then the tent falls on it. Oh, it's pouring rain. Wow. Maybe I should go back in the tent. Wow. Dumping down rain. A little better look at what's in here. That deck came off of this Troy-Bill pony. It had a blown engine, so I kept some parts. What's under there? That's a Wheel Horse Commando 8. That's a 1969. That thing runs and drives and mows, actually. A couple more mowing decks. Honda mower. You know. Alright, we'll do this mowing deck in a little bit once this rain calms down. Put the belt in there so we don't lose it. Let's go for a ride. Get out of the rain for a minute. Well, that's a couple days later. Want to see if this thing will fire off? I bet it will. Sweet. Well, we definitely fixed the carburetor. All right, let's talk about mowing decks. So I pulled this thing out of the tarp shed down by the creek, and it was pouring rain that day, like really raining. So this thing got a little bit muddy because the cart that I used to get this out of the shed got flooded. That was pretty insane, that storm. But we got this newly refurbished deck. I actually did it last year. I think I showed you all this. Got brand new blades on it. I still forgot to look back in my videos, but I think I did the bearings and these spindles too, so sweet. Let's air up the tires on the Toro, because one of them goes flat. Yeah, and then we'll have a even machine here. Let's get the deck on and see if this thing works. You know, you always gotta wonder, you know, why did someone give up on a machine? So far it's just been the solenoid and a dead battery. Well, solenoid, dead battery, dirty carburetor, but hard to say. It was probably the solenoid that really made them give up on it. But the deck was pretty much off the machine, so that's making me scratch my head a little bit. Anyway, we'll find out here in a minute. So let's get the tire inflated first. Wanted to stop there for a minute. This is pretty much how I bought the machine. The deck was on just about this much, just with the deck engagement cable, and the guy who sold it to me couldn't get the engagement cable off, so it was pretty easy, but he couldn't figure it out. Anyway, so we want to make sure we have the two rear brackets on this machine. I know for sure I have the rod that connects the front of the deck to the front of the tractor, so we're just gonna mess around with this and make sure we have all the connectors. So here's what we're working with underneath the machine. We have the hanger that raises and lowers the deck, and we have the slots that fits into, but there's no pin. There's like a spring-loaded pin that goes there, so we're missing that. I took the original deck here just to see if those pins were here, and they are not. So might have to get creative there. Is that a deal breaker? Not deal breaker, but does that really prevent us from hanging this deck? It might. But really, you're just talking about bolting this thing together. You know, it's a lot easier when it's spring-loaded because you can pull it out, and then when you're ready to set it, you just twist it and set it back in. But like I said, I got the front part, so that's good. Hang on to that. All right, let's think for a moment. See if we can't come up with something kind of creative for this. Okay, I think I have a solution for hanging the deck, but first I want to get the belt on. See if I can get that belt routed through there without having to take the idler off, but we'll see. Okay, pretty simple. Just needed 2 hands. That's probably gonna go like that. Okay, that looks right. This new belt looks like it's the right length, because you know, I'm a little worried about this. I gotta make sure this isn't seized. Oh no, it works. Okay. I was worried that might be seized. But the belt sizes are different depending on if you have the electric PTO. If you have the electric PTO, you don't need any flex in the belt. Like, you don't need the belt to be slack and then tight. With an electric PTO, the belt is always tight, and then you just tell the machine to engage the PTO. So you need a different belt size if you have that. So this belt for this deck, when the machine it came off of was the same way. It had an engagement like that. All right, let's keep going, and I'll show you the nuts and bolts solution I have to hang in this deck. Okay, I told you it was a nuts and bolts solution. So I think I'm just gonna hang the deck with these. I think it's gonna work just fine. Obviously it's not as quick as the spring-loaded pin that's supposed to connect these, but I don't have that. I mean, I could look up the part. Kind of a weird part. We're gonna go with this. Okay, so I just tested out the deck height selector, and on this left side of the machine, the left side itself was not raising. I just noticed this. So that's supposed to go into that hole with a pin. So again, you're always looking for clues, you know, what made someone give up on this machine, and that pin falling out and the whole left side of the deck not being able to raise up. You know, some people throw away their machine because of that, so that could be another reason. Now let's try this out. There we go. Great. That looks actually really nice and even. Feels very smooth. This doesn't feel good. I gotta check into that, make sure that works, but I got the belt on there, got the deck hung. I think it's kind of temporary. I think I want longer bolts down there to, there's two kind of parts in the bracket, and you can send a long bolt through both sides or parts of the bracket, so I'll probably do that. So what I have there is temporary. I just want to see if I can get this thing to mow. Okay, so on second thought, it seems like the belt is always tight, kind of like it's set up for an electric PTO. This should have a lot more slack in it. Right now it's engaged. I don't think I can disengage it anymore. So if the machine starts up, it's gonna start mowing right away. But I guess it's worth a shot, right? All right, let's try it out. Oh yeah, I can feel the blades already. All right, so pretty successful. We have the blades spinning when we don't want them to, but they're definitely not spinning at full blast. So that's good. I wonder if there's an adjustment on that to kind of slide the belt engagement back so it's not always so tight. But the deck looks nice and even. It raises and lowers. This thing runs nice. We got a pretty good machine here. Just gotta figure this out. You know, you can tell too, like it doesn't come back all the way. And like as soon as you start to go there, it feels like it's engaging. So I'm gonna double check, see if we have an adjustment. Well, the adjustment is all the way back, so there's nothing I can do about that. But there's a belt keeper here that's in the wrong place. It's too far forward on the machine. I need to get it more like back here on this idler. So it's digging in a bit, and I can see some wear on the belt already. So let's stop there and loosen this up and move that keeper so we don't do any more damage. If you idle down the machine, the blade stops spinning, so things might have loosened up a little bit. This thing mows and drives great. I did that about as fast as I could, just pedal all the way down. I had a little bit of gas in the tank, and I actually knew that I had a lot of bit of gas in the engine block, so that oil was like way high full, so I didn't want to run it too long. Needs an oil change for sure. But I love machines that mow through tall grass at full speed. You gotta appreciate that. You know, say what you want to say about Toro or even Kohler Courage's. That thing did great. Lawn looks good too. All right, we're not finished, but a really good start. All right, let's address the flat tire on this Toro. We're gonna use automatic transmission fluid, and we're gonna fill this tire up with some of that through the valve stem here. So take the cap off. We're gonna use this valve stem removal tool. And so here's the Schrader valve has been removed. And then we're just gonna put a funnel. I'll give you a better view here. Put a funnel on this and fill it with some ATF. And it's good to get the tractor tire off the ground. All right. So here's our funnel, and we'll just fill the tire with, you know, several ounces of ATF, and hopefully that will stop the leak. Let's do a little bit more. We'll open up a new bottle of this. we're going to make sure the Schrader valve is clean and the little O-ring on there is free of any dirt and still looks like in good condition. Put that back in. And we'll use our tool here. I'll fill this up with air. I use this Ryobi inflator. It has a screen right here that tells you the PSI. It's pretty nice, very handy. It just operates off the normal Ryobi battery. And I use this tool almost every day. That should do it. I'm going to try to spin those tires around a little bit, see if we can spread that ATF everywhere and make sure it seals all the cracks. And for a little pinhole leak like these have, this rear tire and the front tire, the ATF should do it. I find it to be even better than slime. I do like the Fix-A-Flat. It's real expensive though, so ATF's is a budget choice. I want to make the deck hanger more permanent. I'll try to show you what I'm working with here. So I have a bolt that's just sort of loosely in there, but really what we want is for a long bolt to go through this, through the other side, and then into the deck hanger that comes on the tractor. So ideally like a long bolt like that. So I've been looking through my supply for stuff, and I found these, which came from probably like an IKEA furniture assembly. You know how they always have extra? Actually, probably was a swing set. And it's long enough. It's got like a Torx, or yeah, probably a Torx. And then these caps go on too, so you can thread those on. And that's probably the most uniform setup I got. So we're going to go with that just to make this hung on the tractor a lot more solidly and reliable, and so that the hardware matches too. So hard to show you that, so I'm just going to get that done and then I'll report back. Alright, time to do the service. Got the oil draining. Going to change out this fuel filter, and we're going to add in a fuel shutoff valve because this is a gravity fed system. It's always best to do that. We got the filter right here, which is really nice, oil filter. So this is all set up pretty good to work on, so you gotta like that. Another thing I'll probably do with this, since it's a Kohler Courage, is I'll pop this engine cover off and make sure all the sump bolts are tight on there. They do like to back out, and that's the big problem with these engines. But if you service them, you might as well get that cover off and do that. So yeah, we'll do that together too while this is draining. So these are the bolts right here that like to come loose, and I'll put a wrench in there. I bet they're probably need to be tightened down, but they look really good. Doesn't seem to be any problems here. Definitely no cracks and no oil leaking. So we got lucky with this one, because these things can be a big problem. Just a bit of an example here. See, I got like a quarter turn on that. They're all just a little bit loose. Not there. I got that one already, but see what I mean? So it's worth just checking up on these things. If you're doing the oil change, might as well. So this spark plug was loose. That's great. That was barely in there. Man, that could have been a big problem. see how this thing looks. Oh, it looks lean, but it's not terrible. Let's get that Briggs & Stratton spark plug replaced. Okay, so we have the seat to deal with too. It's in pretty rough shape. There's some moss growing out of it here. So I'm gonna pop this off. Hopefully a Craftsman seat will fit on here. We're gonna find out here, but we gotta get the seat safety off. Okay, then, oh, there we go. I took the bolt out already. Alright, so let's go check the stash, see if we have one that will line up here. I've got two pretty good seats here. This is probably the better one. It's also tall, like this Toro. Yeah, it doesn't quite look the same. Can you make that work? No. The only thing would be if the bracket fits. So maybe the connection here would work. And you take the original bracket off the Toro. Yeah, we could try that out. We'll take it back up top, see if that works. Okay, we really lucked out. We have a near perfect seat here. And this is actually from a Troy built. So that pattern works with these Toros. So let's get this seat on here. And that's a big upgrade from that cracked and mossy one. Well, we'll have to disable the seat safety here. There's no seat safety on this seat. But I'll show you how to do that pretty simply. Okay, so hopefully you can see a little bit in here. I'm trying to use some really fine needle nose pliers to pull out this metal plate. It's not always easy to do. But once you get that plate out, this seat safety doesn't work anymore. So that's what you want if you don't have anything to plug it into. There we go. That's what it looks like. If you take that out, then the wires don't contact and it runs. Good to see that this is a Stens part. That means it was serviced, and maybe serviced by an actual shop. And I just went out and got some Kohler parts. So Tractor Supply has these. It's kind of expensive, especially that was like $32 for the air filter. But I'll put these things in, and then our service is completely done on this. We got a spark plug. We're gonna have an oil filter, fuel filter, shut off, air filter, and an oil change in just a minute, and then we'll be fully serviced. I forgot to show you this. I had an extra grass screen. This thing was missing that, so that's pretty nice to cap that off. The whole engine area is going to look quite nice, I think. Actually, maybe I'll put that filter here. Seems like it'd be a better fit, like that. I'll clean this out first. This is really dirty. And sometimes customers do take the air cover off and inspect. You know, you don't want to have claim to have cleaned this and done all these things and then have a really dirty inside of the air filter. So let's clean that out first. I use a Purple Power concentrate for all this stuff. It's just a good degreaser, and the concentrate's real cheap. That's really thick in there too. It's pretty nasty. And then just shop towels to clean it up. Well, this is pretty filthy. I'm gonna get the compressed air out, and we'll blow this out with the hose. Alright, so that's a better fit. And that will go on there. This thing was pretty filthy. I don't know if it looks a lot better, but it looks better. A bunch of stuff just wouldn't come up. So it kind of looks like it needs paint now. That's usually what happens after you pressure wash it. Alright, we got to get in here to these headlight lenses. It's really nasty in there, and let this thing dry off for a little while, start it up, see if anything needs touch-up paint. But we're getting pretty close here. It's almost finished. Okay, so just doing some finishing touches on this. I have this grip tape that I've used before, and I think I'm going to use it right here on the floor. It's going to cover up some of that flaking paint and make it look like I don't need to paint there. So that's going to help. I have this for the front wheel here. It's missing that cap. And then I'm going to take this torch and I'm going to try to brush up some of this plastic, faded plastic. Looks a lot better when you just torch it a bit. Brings it back to life. So let's give that a shot. A big improvement. All right, let's do this side too. Well, this project's finished. I think it came out great. Really happy I had this restored deck ready to go. That made the whole thing a lot easier to finish up. And we got lucky with this Kohler Courage. There's no crack in it, it's not leaking oil. It's a low hour machine, really hard to read the hour meter. It's very dim for some reason, but looks like 225 for hours. Got the seat replaced. Got a grass screen for the engine, full service. Like I said, restored deck, new bearings, new belt, new blades. This thing's tested, mows great. Engine runs perfect. All right, this was a good pickup. The original deck looked really rusted out on this, but it didn't start. We were able to solve all those problems, so got a nice machine for sale here. This is Kyle by the Creek. Thanks for watching the video. Hope you like it. Subscribe, share. Looking to grow the channel here and have a few videos out that are getting some traction. Could use some more subscribers, of course, but looking forward to making more content like this. Tractors, push mowers, motorcycles, quads, whatever comes my way. It's a lot of fun to work on. Love getting things restored and ready for sale, so stick around for some more. Thanks.